What's up, everybody? What's going on, world? Live from the shore of P-More with yours truly, Shaheem, and the one and only DJ Boom. And as you can see, DJ Boom is broadcasting live from Six Flags today.
I should have had them little men that waving
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot going on, everybody. But still, we're going to do what we do and keep this party rolling.
This week, I will be live from Six Flags, turned all the way up for July Fest, sponsored by Coca-Cola and Coke Studios. As you can see the logo behind me. So,
that's right. Big things happening.
You know, I don't know what happened, but all right.
That's right. Big things happening, like I was saying. And we're going to make it do what it do. Our topic for today, we're going to be talking about, of course, the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade last week, excuse me. A big decision that's going to be impacting a lot of women in the country. We're also going to be talking about sex and what that means to people these days, especially as we grow older. So we're going to be talking about sex, what that means for a young person as an older person. Say that again, Boom.
Oh, somebody was talking to me out here. I'm going to be muting my mic a lot.
Yeah, no, I understand you're working and everything. I was just letting everybody know what we're talking about today and you know, filling them in on everything.
Absolutely. Listen, this is a serious... I had to go there. This is a serious thing in the country right now. This whole decision with Roe versus Wade. So we decided to touch on it from a man's perspective. And of course, we're going to have our Debbie in the building too. So we're going to get everybody's perspective. But we as men have a perspective as far as making that decision to overturn the Roe versus Wade decision altogether. Well, I gotta leave that on so you can hear your song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For those who don't know, playing in the background right now is my song, Weightless. Live at Six Flags in Maryland today. As you can see, my cousin bigging me up. The video will be coming soon. The song, I haven't released it yet, but I'm releasing it soon. I'm going to release it as soon as I put the video out for everybody. We're shooting the video July 30th, right in Baltimore. And I would love to see you guys there. I'm going to post the address and everything, especially for my family and friends. And I want to see as many people there as possible. July 30th, coming right at you.
Come on, let's go.
I appreciate the love. My cousin's always looking out, and we always look out for each other. That's just how the family is, y'all. And that's why I love this family so much. Yes, folks, that is me.
You know what? I should have had my son record. Well, he'll be back either today or tomorrow. I'm going to have him record me playing this song out here.
Please.
This crowd in
Please.
The video.
It'd be a nice clip to add to the video. That's right. So definitely do that. I appreciate all the love. I just want to let people enjoy it a little bit before I start getting going on our topics. I wrote this song because I wanted the people to feel free. There's been a lot going on in the world over the last few years, and I wanted the song to be uplifting. And so I wrote this song, and I hope people really enjoy it. Hi, I'm Debbie.
Hi.
Hello. It's good to see you on this beautiful Sunday.
Good to be here. Good to be here, Shaheem.
Yes, another beautiful Sunday.
I'm loving it over here.
That's good. Boom is working today, so he's gonna be kind of in and out of the conversation.
Oh no, that doesn't mean I have to talk more, does it?
Just a little bit more, but we love listening to you talk.
I got something to say.
You do? What's up?
I'll wait my turn.
Okay, good. Like I said, Boom's going to be in and out. He's live at Six Flags Great Adventures. Congratulations to him, doing big things. I want to support our cousin to the fullest. So, congratulations to him, of course. Now, on to today's topics. We're going to talk about Roe v. Wade and the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade and basically end abortion in a lot of states, and we're also going to touch a little later on sex and what that means to couples today. As far as Roe v. Wade, I think people who follow politics, I'm a nerd in that way, so I tend to follow politics a lot. And for people who follow politics a lot, I think we could all see this coming. I think we all saw this coming. Under Donald Trump's presidency, very rare, but he was able to put 3 judges on the Supreme Court, 3 conservative judges on the Supreme Court. So I think people saw the writing on the wall once they were able to do that. Now, again, for those who follow politics like I do, when President Obama was in office, he tried to have some judges put on the court. The Republicans were against. They fought him tooth and nail on some ridiculous reasons. Yet, when the Republican president was in the presidency, the then Republican Congress was able to push through very conservative judges, despite the complaints of the Democrats. And so now here we are. The threat is not only to Roe v. Wade, from my understanding. I think the threat is also going to be to a lot of things like gay marriage. I know that's come up. And I even heard the segregation of schools might be a thing that might also come up with this conservative court. So we liberals we're about to get a real big sticker shock from all of this that's coming on. But we'll start with Roe v. Wade. I know my opinion, this was a huge setback for women. Being the father of daughters, 3 sisters, 5 aunts, so on and so forth. I'm strong for women's rights. I saw a lot of things as a younger person in a different world go on that were negative toward women, and I don't want to see a return to that. And that's what this feels like.
And I would add to that, it's a blow for women, and it's a blow for humanity. Because if you hurt the women, you hurt males and females. So it's a blow for humanity and what it means to be human.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree. I know, like I said decades ago, because I lived in a different world, it was basically abusive toward women, and it was kind of the norm. Of course, looking back, I didn't like it, and any human being looking at the situations back then, it was impossible for you to like. Women came a long way from that, and no one wants to see them go backwards. I know there was a lot of criticism all over the world about the decision the Supreme Court made. And I think it's just like what you said. It's humanity. It affects humanity. It's in a sense, of course, of people, I'll say conservatives, imposing their will upon people. And that's exactly what this country is supposed to be against.
Yeah, you know, we call them conservatives, and I wonder if a temporary name for them shouldn't be the insecure ones. They
Mm,
call it conservatism, but they are afraid of progress. They
very,
are afraid of not being in control. And
very.
when Obama was president, I think that blew their minds
Huh?
because the unknown future was frightening to them. The
Absolutely.
idea that Black people and women and gay people could be in power. They
Mm,
didn't see it as an empowerment for all. They saw it in terms of in the light of their own insecurities. You
right.
know, we often say, I've heard people say that Black people have low self esteem. And I say, can't nobody have lower self esteem than the people who wiped out the buffalo,
Mm, wow.
who
That's
go into
interesting.
countries and steal people's culture and impose their own. You have to be insecure and a
Mm,
bully to
mm,
take the land from Native Americans, land that was there. You know, this whole idea of Columbus discovering America,
right.
when it was already inhabited
Right.
by indigenous people.
Absolutely.
And you have to be scared and insecure to steal and and kill
Mm.
and obliterate. And let that be a clue for us that we're dealing with bullies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I agree
Dealing with
100%. And they're good at it. They're good at it. I find it in a lot of times the Democrats to be actually kind of cowardly in the way they move, whereas the Republicans they are for they do what they want to do, despite the complaints about it. You know, they get it done.
mm,
And the Democrats, the liberals aren't necessarily like that. I tend to find I can remember also when Obama first started his presidency back in 2008. If I remember correctly, Democrats were empowered and they did so much bickering among each other, they couldn't get nothing done. They couldn't get nothing
mm,
done. And it seems to be the
mm,
same thing now. You have some Democrats who call themselves Democrats, but act more like Republicans.
mm.
And because of that, the Democrats can't seem to get anything done. They can't seem to to unite their party the way the Republicans can to get things done. And now we're
Mm,
stuck in this situation. Now, it also, in my opinion, created this on the Supreme Court. It created almost a tit for tat situation because now in the future, as the courts change, and they will, um, they're going to constantly be looking back and trying to change or undo what previous courts have done. And that's not the way to do this. That's definitely not what we want to
mm,
see. The courts will
mm,
change, and we will have a more liberal leaning court again. I can't tell you how long. It could take 50 years, like it took this conservative court to get it done. But we will have a liberal court again. And I'm sure once we will, they're going to do exactly what this conservative court did. They're going to look back. Instead of thinking forward, moving forward, they're going to be continually looking back, trying to change and undo things that were done. So it created this tit for tat situation to me, too, which is absolutely ridiculous.
like children who don't know how to play
Like
together in a
children.
sandbox. Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, I think the conservatives, they, this um, this thing about abortion, this is against their belief system, their religious side of it, though. You know, whether they're Catholic or whatever, they just don't believe in abortion because of their religion. Where in this country, your religion is not supposed to be even involved in politics. I know that's hard to do. We're all human beings, and your beliefs are your beliefs. But they're forcing their religious beliefs on the rest of us. And that's exactly what this country is not supposed to be about. You know, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
difficult pill for me to swallow. For those who don't know me, I'm an atheist. I don't subscribe to any religion. And to have someone force their religious beliefs on me is ooh, that's a tough pill for me to swallow. And I'm sure a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend to lean toward the medical side of it, and I say that because I'm not a care professional. So well, I look at the medical community when it comes to this thing about abortion, and the decision
Mm-hmm.
should be left up to the women and
Mm-hmm.
their doctors.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion on it.
Well, I'm with you, Shaheem. When Roe versus Wade was decided in 1973, I was 21 years old.
Wow.
And that decision was very informing and encouraging to my ability to decide who I am
Mm,
and who I would become. I considered myself an active feminist.
right.
So that was the language. They called us women libbers.
I remember
Um,
that.
yeah, you remember that? You were only in the cradle, and it was considered radical for a woman to be in charge of her own body, not to mention
Oh, of
her
course.
own destiny.
Of course. I remember those
Yeah.
days. I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was the days when women were first starting to really dig in their heels and fight for their rights. You had the Billie Jean Kings, you had the women who refused to wear
Mm-hmm.
bras. And I remember that whole big deal and everything. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was when
Mm-hmm.
women really started digging in their heels and really fighting for their rights. And
That's
and
right.
and and they came a long way. I mean, the family dynamic totally changed. Women didn't feel like they had to stay in the house anymore and be
Mm-hmm.
housewives and things like that. They could get out and they could do it. They could support themselves. They didn't need a man. They could be independent. If a man didn't fit the picture anymore, they could move on without that man and raise the kids and be
Yeah.
and have lives.
Yeah. Well, we need men. No matter what our sexual persuasion is,
Oh, of course,
at the end, we want it to be interdependent equally.
right. You just didn't want to
I
be
need you
dominated.
right, and I don't want to dominate, and
Right,
I don't want to be dominated.
right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So a partnership is more of a shared experience. Not with one,
Mhm.
it feels like they're powerless to the other person. And
Mhm.
that's what makes a more beautiful relationship. Just have that it's a shared experience.
Yeah, even when we talk about power, inadvertently, the concept of power over comes in there. That I like to think of power as agency
Mm,
rather than having to do with something I do to somebody else. And so, even the ideas of bosses and government and teachers, their very identity rests on us. You can't be a teacher without a student.
right.
So that gives the student really a lot of power. And so,
Mm,
but we get warped in our brains and we start thinking, oh, the police people have more power. The government have no power. There couldn't be a government without us. We
well,
make the
people.
government. So the power is mutual. It is not
And that
given to
makes a better
us.
experience for everybody.
I think so.
I think so.
So,
And so
but
oh, I'm sorry.
no, I was going to roll on.
Well, please hold on. But no, I was going to
I,
get back to,
but but this is your show, so
no, this is becoming our
I'm
show and
invited,
then I'm
and
enjoying it.
it's powerful to be here. I love being here.
I love
Yeah,
having you here. But I was just about to
thank
reach
you.
back to the days like the 70s and the 60s. And I'll go further back than that. And I want to talk about this abortion issue too, because there was a time back then when young girls got pregnant, they kind of disappeared. You might remember this from back in those days. They kind of disappeared or were visiting family members down south, if you
Hmm.
might remember that.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
people were hiding these pregnancies. They were hiding them
Hmm.
away, and maybe she would have the
Mhm.
baby and she'd come back. You never see the baby, or
Mhm.
she didn't come
Mhm.
back altogether. But back in those days when young girls got pregnant, it was an embarrassment to the family. They tend to move the young lady out of the picture in some cases.
Mhm.
You remember that?
Oh yeah, and the people who have money, often people of European descent, but anybody with money had
Hmm.
the power to say, oh, she's in
Right.
boarding school. They could
Right.
send her someplace. But often poor women had to resort to coat hanger abortions.
Coat hanger
So
abortions,
we have
giving their
not,
babies up.
well, coat hanger abortions, this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
The threat to some women of having a baby when they don't have stability or health or well-being, they
Right.
will it made people desperate, and
Yes.
many women were killed in um under the table, behind the curtain abortions
Yes.
that weren't regulated by any kind of medical establishment. So they had to take their chances, and many
Yes.
women died
And people, young
from,
people, and the people
from
who,
getting abortions.
right, and the
And
young
those
people,
who didn't die were shamed, which is a kind of death as well.
yes. And people of this world, of this generation, they couldn't possibly know what it was like back then. But this happened. This was actually happening. You know, and we don't
Mhm,
want to see a return to that. Believe me, folks, you do not want to go back. That it was a terrible time. It was a
mhm,
terrible time for
mhm,
people. And so the when women were given their right to abortions and things like that, it changed. It changed things for women. It really did. I do not want to see things go back to that. I never want to see things go back to that. It was a terrible
mhm.
time. And so this is what we're stuck with for now. Luckily, not every state is getting rid of abortions. If you're lucky enough, like myself and I believe you too, to live in blue states
Mhm,
where
mhm,
they pass legislation in state to protect women's
mhm.
right to an abortion, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes. Shaheen, I
Mhm.
offer to the listeners and to us
Okay.
that this is a psychic attack.
Mm.
So it doesn't, it affects our psyche. And when I'm talking about the psyche, I'm talking about the mind, spirit,
Right.
body, right? So this is like saying you don't have any agency um, over your life. So a psychic attack on the mind
Hmm.
is like a punch in the gut.
Yeah,
It throws you off balance.
it
It
does.
affects your subconsciousness and your intellect. And the effect of it can be an anger reaction and paradoxically a feeling of powerlessness. So I like to look at what can we do. And I don't just mean what we can do in terms of voting, which I hope we will, because I suspect that a lot of this trouble has come about because there were people. I remember when was it Obama running for president, or maybe it was Hillary and Trump. But like a lot of people said, "Oh, I don't believe in voting," and they didn't
Yeah,
vote, and they got
yeah.
Trump. And I
Yeah,
understand,
and
that
it was those decisions during that election is why we have this conservative court now. It was important for me to point that
yes,
out to people. It's
yes,
extremely important for me to point that out to people. If
yes.
you took it easy during that Hillary Clinton Trump election because you thought she had it in the bag or you just didn't like the vote, you have no right to
No, I mean
complain.
that's not what people said. I heard people say in a very superior tone of voice that they were
Okay.
above voting.
Wow.
Oh, come
Wow.
on. You weren't on
Really?
Facebook then? Yes. They would go, oh, I don't believe in voting, or it doesn't make a difference to
Really?
me. Yes. Yes, I think especially young people. One of the things that had gotten me to vote, because I used to be apathetic about voting, and then I saw a civil rights film. I saw civil rights
Bingo. That's what
footage
got me.
people being,
That's what got me.
sprayed with water. Is that what got you?
We're
When
from
I
a different
saw
generation.
that,
That's what got me. When I saw how hard that our people had to fight for it, and
yes,
the different dirty,
yes,
low down tricks
yes,
that
yes,
the other guys would play
yes,
to try to keep us from
yes,
vote. I mean, some of the
yes.
most devious things you could think of. Incredible.
And including above board killing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So when I saw that people were losing their lives for me to vote, for me to have the right to vote,
Right.
I said, well, I'm going to take my chances and vote. For all the presidents that we've ever had, Obama included, I never noticed my life in particular changing.
No.
And when Obama
No.
came to office, it was very spiritually and emotionally
Our
energizing
people
for
needed
me.
the
But
moment.
I knew that he couldn't, say,
No.
and y'all look out for Deborah Singletary. She lives in Harlem at this address. Make sure
Right.
she's taken care of. Like,
Right.
I knew that that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But if I was going to err, I'm going to err in favor of voting because
Hmm.
we, us's,
Yeah.
let Trump in by
Yes.
our apathy. And apathy is one of the
Yes.
effects of a psychic attack. You get punched in the gut, and then you feel weak and afraid to exercise your
Yeah.
power.
Yeah, and then the problem becomes you're less inclined to hit back. But no, people, we got to hit back. You got to get out there and vote. If you want to make the change that you feel necessary in this country, and I think on a lot of issues, most of us want changes on things like we want to see this
Mm,
Roe v. Wade. We want to see this back. We want to see more gun legislation. We want these type of things,
mm,
people. I encourage you to do like I have done practically my entire life. Get out and vote, please. We can make the change. You won't. We can't do it, but with one vote. We have to
mm,
do it as a
mm,
collective. That means you too
mm.
have to get out there and stand in line like the rest of us and vote, please. And then we can make the changes that we feel we need to make in this country. You know, Roe v. Wade, they did this time. Trust me, gay people, they are
Mm,
coming for you.
mm,
They are coming for you.
mm. Yeah. And I think in addition to voting, we need to shine a light in our own lives and notice where we are living as powerless people. Because Roe v. Wade or terminating it makes it seem as if we have no power. So we have to ask ourselves, does that really strip us of our power? No. And we have to examine where in our lives we can be powerful. So it's not about the other, it's also about how we do our own lives. So
Oh
for
yeah,
me, when if I'm feeling a little, blue or a little powerless, I ask myself, is that true? Am I really powerless? No. And what
no,
can I do right in this moment? And I don't mean, form an organization, although that might be viable too. What can I do today? And very often for me, I clean my house because cleaning the house is a way of ordering the mind.
mm-hmm.
Getting rid of clutter is a way of defogging the brain.
Right. I
And so
agree.
when I do that, then I feel better and then I can take another action. Then I might choose to call somebody and encourage them. And then so it starts from the inside out. So I say what we can do during this time is to turn up our lights, to do what we want to do. If you have a dream, something you would love to do that would turn you on, do it. Do it a little bit,
Oh yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and
I would always
then and
encourage
then
someone
add
to
to
follow
it.
their dreams. Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and because you know what it is, it's the absence of light. It's not necessarily the literalness of what they are doing, but it's as if they are casting a shadow over our lives. And I say we should
Mm.
turn up our lights. That we
I'm
should
definitely
be
gonna turn up mine, and I know you
we
enough
should
to
be
know that you're
brilliant.
gonna turn up yours.
No, I'm turning it up.
Yeah, absolutely,
Turning it up.
absolutely.
Hmm.
In fact, I want to go back to last week. We posed a question to people last week, um, and they were supposed to tune in to with their answers to win a prize. I want to move over to that because the time's ticking down as we're moving on. How do we do? Do we have a winner?
Well, you know what?
Okay.
I didn't get not a nary email. So
Oh wow. Okay.
I have a new question for today.
All right.
And this time I'm going to ask people to just either put it in the chat or
Oh,
when
okay.
we post this on Facebook to put it in the chat there, and then I'll see their answers. Because you know, folk, you're going to ask them to not only write something or think, but you want them to go to their email and open that up and put in the answer. So we want to make it a little easier. We'll just put it in the chat,
Well,
and they
also I
can
want
answer it in the chat.
also
How's
I want
that, Shaheem?
yeah, no, that's fine by me. But also I want you to explain to people a little more about what you do as far as the astrology reading, and just so people just to give people a little more insight.
Okay. Well, self astrology is a self empowerment tool,
Right.
and it is based on science, but there's also an art to interpreting the arrangements of um, the planets on the day that you were born.
Hmm.
And so it's like a map to your potential, but it's also may give an idea of the ways in which you can avoid self sabotaging. So, for example, many people think, okay, their sun sign is my sun sign is Taurus, but my moon is in Gemini, and my rising is Cancer. So there's more to it than the sun sign. But one of the most informing things about my own chart is that I have a lot of fire planets. So I'm an earth sign. So people go, oh, Taurus, that's so sweet. Not really. I have more
Okay.
Aries. I have more of what DJ Boone has. Okay, I have a lot of fiery energy, a little Leo, but a lot of Aries. So
Oh,
what
okay.
that does is that gives me energy. And the fire is the masculine principle. So here you have a woman with the masculine principle operating. And so I'm really into let's go, let's get it done, let's start this, let's do
Okay. All right. More of a
beautiful.
take
But
charge type of personality.
it could also lead to a little temper.
Oh, okay. Well, what about me?
I
Me, I was born in September. I'm a Virgo.
well, I'll tell Shaheem, you know what? We can make you be the free reading this time.
Well, I'm
Um,
gonna be honest with you. Like
so
I said before, I'm an atheist, so I'm a little touchy about it, but I'm willing to take the chance.
listen, come,
No, I'm
well,
willing.
you just wait. Baby, let me blow your mind. You just wait. I'm
Okay,
gonna blow your mind.
well,
But let
give
me
it your
tell
best
you,
shot.
Virgos are more likely to not believe in astrology, and I'll tell you why.
Ah,
Virgo, an Earth sign, is rational.
okay. First, I'm new to
It's
this,
thinking.
so
It's
explain to me what is an Earth sign? What is that?
so the signs are arranged to be in either fire, earth, water, or air.
Okay,
So there are subdivisions to the signs. So Taurus
okay,
is an earth sign, but Virgo is also an earth sign. So you and I are kind of into the practical. We're going to be,
okay.
we want to see what it looks like. Virgo is very touchy feely. We said we were going to talk about sex, so I think I can say something.
Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
y'all not. I'm not supposed to be a good girl on here, am I?
No,
Actually, I
guys,
am.
no, you're
I'm
supposed
a
to speak
good
your
woman. I'm a
mind.
good woman. But to me, Virgo is actually the sex sign of the zodiac, um, not Scorpio. And I'll tell you, which people think,
I can see that.
and I'll tell you why.
And
So
my wife would probably agree.
here's so here's the air signs. You go, oh, look at this, and they look at it and they say, oh, that's nice. And you show a Virgo, you say, look at this, and Virgo takes it up and they go, what's that? They go be turning it around and analyzing it and checking it out. And so
Before we will agree to anything, we'll do that.
if you're making love, it's the touching that you want, not necessarily the drama of you want that caressing, and so that it builds, and that's the Virgo. um uh, so Terry Boy says you got that right. That's the
Yeah.
the Virgo energy is a very touching energy, and it's often the sign of the healer because Virgos are often good with their hands,
Oh,
whether it's
that's
lovemaking
interesting. Maybe that's why I
or
work with
whether
my hands.
crafting or making stuff. So, anything to do with touching in the hands, and the hands are the link to the mind. So we may call it the hands, but it is the mind that makes the hand moves. And
Right.
so that contributes to the um, finesse of Virgos.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Now,
Yeah.
you described a lot of things that kind of like me. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. So and I'm sure people listening are going to be intrigued too.
Yeah, try it. A lot of people think astrology is going to tell them when they're going to die. Like people are
Or what the
afraid,
next lottery number is going to be.
or well, look, if it could do that, I'm
Yeah,
sure there are astrologers who might be able to do that because there are different branches of astrology. There's medical astrology, there's
really?
financial astrology. Yes, and I tend to deal more in the psychological, emotional realm of astrology.
Oh, okay.
But there are many different
That I
branches to
did
it.
not know. So
Yeah.
you want to pose a different question this time?
Well, so I'm going to make it not an astrological question, although the gift will still be a free reading.
Okay.
What do you do to encourage yourself when you've experienced a troubling blow? So I've just put it into the chat. And so people can answer in the chat, or when you post this on Facebook, they can enter an answer in the chat there. So that's the question. Oh my goodness, have I lost Tyrone? Am I completely on my own? Tyrone, come back, come back. Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped out for 1 second.
Shaheen, you scared me. You scared me.
No, my bad. I stepped out for 1 second. I had to take a look at something. But there you go, folks. What do you do to encourage? I'm sorry. What again?
What do you do to encourage yourself when you've experienced a troubling blow? And I would hope for not just I go to bed early and get a good nap, but
Dang.
I would hope for like a 3 or 4, 5 sentence paragraph. You could write a lot if you're into writing a lot,
Yeah.
but I'd like more than just I eat ice cream.
Right. You want people to really, really speak about what they do and
Yeah,
talk
really think
talk about
about
themselves.
it.
Maybe
Yeah,
they can
think
help someone
about it.
else
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the
And
process.
it's called the art of self-reflection. And in my experience, one of the things that gets us into trouble the most in life is that we don't know how to self reflect. We know how to say, look at Shaheen. Shaheen did this and he didn't do that. And we can know how to point the finger, but we don't know, we're not as keen on looking within. So we can
Mm.
outline Shaheen's faults.
I'm,
And there
I'm
are a
I'm
lot of
glad you brought that up because I had to do some reflecting on myself today. And since we're talking about sex and things like that, I want to talk about relationships because I
yeah,
was hitting two blows today, this morning, about relationship. One positive, one negative. I'm not gonna say any names, anything, put people out there, but I want to start with this though. First, and this is about me looking at myself. A person close to me, a relative of mine, close to me, has been went through a divorce like a few years back and everything. And so she's been single for a while, but now is getting out and really starting to enjoy her life a little more now and has met someone. And that being said, she wants to introduce, this person to the family and everything. And me being me, I'm always the bull. So me immediately, it was like, no, I never want to, and screw that being myself, I'm putting up the wall immediately, and so and I had to sit back and say to myself, like, come on, man, that's not right. This is a person that supported you in everything that you ever done. Finally, they're getting out and starting to experience some happy after going through the trauma of divorce and getting over a problem with substance abuse and things like that. And finally, the life is going on. Why couldn't I swallow my own dumb pride and be more supportive? And so I had a change of heart and said, you know what? No, I got to do this. I got to do this.
wow.
It's time. It's time, especially as you grow older. And young people, I know it can be tough. As you grow older, it's time to change. You want to be a better person. You absolutely want to be a better person to help it become a better world. So, yeah, it's time to do some reaching in and do some looking at ourselves. and
So what was the trigger, Shaheem? What made you put up the wall? What did that bring up in you that caused you to put
it's
up a
always been my
wall?
natural defense when something foreign is introduced to me to always, but like you said, I'm a Virgo. I question it first. I just don't accept things right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm,
always been my way. I'm immediately defensive. And so she's
mm,
actually met people before, and I had that reaction. And even though I know she didn't want that, she wants me to be more accepting of the changes that's going on, and her bringing her friends into the family, especially one that she really cares about. And so I was always that negative cog, and I didn't want to be that no more. I can't be that
wow.
no more.
Wow.
It's time to move forward. So even if this
Wow.
person ends up not being the right one, whatever, I have to be supportive of this family member because I care about it.
Of their journey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's time. It's time. So yeah. It's time for me to make some changes.
Mm, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm only pouring my heart out there with the hopes that I can help somebody. And I want people to call in or comment, and I want to hear their responses as well. Because
Mm,
maybe you have a piece of information, or you could tell a story that just might help somebody else. We're all growing.
mm-hmm.
We're all growing. We can grow together. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be a better person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I do along the lines of the art of self-reflection is to notice when something is a trigger. Like when I have a strong, immediate
Ah,
response or reaction, then I
ah.
know, and then especially if I'm inclined to point the finger, but I always ask myself, what is this bringing up for you, for me?
Mm,
So I know that my feelings most likely are not really about the other person, but it's
yeah.
really about something that's coming up for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got the party going, boy.
Okay, so I just read your question. What do I do to basically uplift myself when I experience a traumatizing blow or something like that? Honestly, I just remain focused. I just remain focused on what I got going on around me. There's major things happening right now around me, and you would never be able to tell. because I just remain focused on the task at hand, and then I just deal with everything else later. I do more talking, as we did in the other show. I do more talking now than I've done in the past. I don't lash out as much, so talking helps me get out anything that's really on my mind. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you should tell all your business." To me, it's not telling all my business. To me, it's not holding it in. I just releasing it for me, so I'm not holding it in. If I hold it in, I might start to lash out the way I used to, and I don't want to be that guy no more. So that's what I do.
And
And
party. And party.
again,
Let's not leave that out.
play some music. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
and for me, the same question, answering the same question. Um, wow, that is a tough question to answer because you're asking people to really dig in look at themselves, dig inside themselves. For me, first of all, and this is a bad thing, I always take a couple shots. That's first and foremost. That's a negative right there. But then for me, it's going through the process. You know, what was this trouble? What is what I'm dealing with? And then how am I gonna get myself out of it? And just going through the process and working through the process is what helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but first thing is
Yeah.
taking a shot. That's the bad part about it.
Why do you say
Alcohol is
that's
something else,
bad?
boy.
Why do you say that's bad?
Huh?
I mean, why do you say that's bad?
Uh, I would say
Well,
I would tell.
let's ask this: what is a shot doing for you that is the reason why you would take it?
Oh, let's face it. I think for most people, getting drunk or drinking is a form of escape in a lot of ways. You know, um, I think
Mm.
that's probably the biggest thing. You know, when you're drunk, you don't have to think about it. You know, but that's not the right solution because the problem never goes away, does it? So
What's the if you don't?
to immediately reach for the alcohol in and of itself is an issue.
Well, the beauty of your being able to identify that is to understand that when you've had a big blow, you're actually in pain.
Mm,
You know, and pain is something that we don't want to feel,
no,
right? So when we have pain, our first, line of defense is to get rid of
get
it
rid
or
of it
to hide
immediately.
it. But I'm
Immediately.
going to tell you that pain, I want to suggest that pain is educative. Let me give
Oh,
you this example. Let's say you ever get like a little itty bitty toothache. It's not bad. And I don't know. I mean, in the old days, we would reach for salt and water, and rinse the mouth out, and that would do it. And it'll a couple of weeks later, maybe even a month, the pain come back again. And only this time it's a little more intense, so we get some Anbesol. I don't
mm.
know if they still sell Anbesol.
We've all been
And
there.
that'll knock it out. That'll knock it out. And sometimes you'll go 2 months, and then you'll get another pain, and this time it's intense. And this one needs Tylenol,
Mm.
right? So you take a couple of Tylenols. And then you could go maybe a year off of the Tylenol. And then finally, the pain is excruciating. And the pain is saying to you, go to the doctor! Go to the dentist!
Oh yeah.
It's like it's really the pain. It's not the punishment. It is your own inner spirit, your own body wisdom talking to you and saying at first gently, honey, go to the dentist. Go to the dentist.
Stop being
I
hard
said,
headed.
go to the dentist. And then finally, if I was standing, I'd didn't I tell you to go to the dentist? So I think that what we want to learn is to tolerate pain and let the wisdom of this pain tell us something. Because pain, if we have pain, it's telling us something about how we're thinking or how we're feeling. And it is information that we want to learn to welcome.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? So you can't say a toothache is bad. It's wanting to educate you and send you to the dentist.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I'll tell you that. I never thought of pain like that before.
Somebody left their phone. They might come back. I know.
Nah, I never thought of pain like that, but I tell you what, it gives me a different perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it definitely does.
Mm-hmm. It's educative.
Yeah. Okay.
It's wisdom. It's trying to help you. So by taking a drink, you dull or ice cream, or for me, it might be sitting in front of the TV. It
Hold
dulls
on.
your senses, and you don't get to explore the whatever is bothering you.
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah.
Can I
listen,
say
I'm
something?
better with that anyway. As you know, as an older person now, I'm in a better space. People have heard me say it on this show before, so I'm under control. It's a much better life, ever evolving. You know,
Hmm.
I'm ever evolving, and it is a much better life. I want to get to some announcements too, though, before we start running out of time.
Can I chime in real quick?
Oh yeah, please, man. We want you to
So
chime in.
listen, I just turned around and looked at risky opinion of horoscope.
Okay.
First of all, to put to to put something like that on a horoscope is absolutely asinine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, I'm saying it just like that.
Yeah.
That's like
I
saying
took a look
it's
at that person and
religion or
I
some
stopped
sort of thing.
posting what they were
That's
putting up.
just like what? A horoscope and astrology. It's like I don't even know how you. I understand it's a risky opinion, but come on. I don't get that there.
Yeah, I saw some of the
Democratic
comments that the
conspiracy
person
theory.
was
Like,
putting up,
so what
and
are they gaining for telling
I
people
stopped putting
about
them up.
themselves as a conspiracy theory? Like that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I agree, cuz like I said, I saw some of the things and I stopped putting his comments up. It's just weird, I don't know.
I just don't get.
We're gonna get
I,
that
it's like
from time to
I
time.
know everybody got their own frame of thinking and how they think, but to put a label on the stars is retarded to me. Like
I don't know.
it's the damn stars.
What are they doing? Who's it? What? Give me an
Oh,
example.
we
No,
have a person. Risky
his
Opinions is
opinion was
the name he
horoscopes
left.
are democratic conspiracy theory. What?
Yeah, he put horoscopes
That's
are Democratic
right. That's the
conspiracy
opinion. Like what?
theories.
That's the most insane
And
thing.
Oh.
a bunch of other stuff. I put up one or two of his comments, but then I stopped putting them up. He sent a bunch of them, but they were weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything could be made to be negative, including drinking water. I mean,
Listen, people, as we do this podcast, we're gonna get those kind of people, But listen, I'm open to other opinions. I understand that my opinion is not the only opinion walking around in the world, and I want to talk to anybody, But when you start to get weird, I cut you off. When you start to get
well, if
strange,
it's
I
not
cut you off.
contributive to, if it's not raising the consciousness, raising the spirits
Right,
of the person, and
right,
astrology is all about self empowerment. And sometimes people have fun with astrology, and they'll
right.
say, "Who's the craziest sign?" And everybody knows it's Aries, right? Um,
I did not know that. All right.
no, joke, joke,
Yeah,
joke,
yeah, we
joke,
didn't mean to offend anybody.
joke, joke.
No, no,
But
no crazy comment, please.
sometimes that kind of thing is fun. It might be fun. But all in all, I've been reading charts for 50 years.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Watch it,
And
watch it. You're telling people your age now.
I'm 70. I'm 70 years old. So I've been reading astrology since I was in my 20s. Yes. And people have said a reading has saved their lives. The astrology is what empowers me to be an artist, because it clearly says in my chart that I'm an entrepreneur type of person and an artist. So I grew up in a household where we were expected to get 9 to 5 secure, stable jobs. And look, I would have loved to have gotten a job for the post office and be sitting on a pension now. But my chart says that my path is entrepreneurial. That's that Aries energy. It's entrepreneurial. it's spiritual, it's creative. I have to be true to myself and
As we
understand that
all.
I am not a not to 9 to 5er, and God bless those people who are, because they often keep that world running, but that's not my path.
We
And
have to do what we were born for,
astrology,
like DJ Boom is doing what he's born for,
that's
rocking the
right.
crowd out there in Six Flags, Great
That's
Adventure.
right. That's right. If when he was a
Rocking the
child,
crowd.
if DJ Boom had come to me when I was
I gotta unmute.
25 and say, Aunt Debbie, I want to be a DJ, I would have said, baby, you can't make no money from that. Because older people, we sometimes think we know stuff, but he's not going to be happy
No,
unless he's doing his nature.
exactly. We all got to do what we born to do, right, Boom?
They having a good time out here.
I see you got the place jumping. Oh,
Wish
yeah.
I was there.
Me too. But
When
right
are you
now,
going to be in Baltimore?
real soon, because I'm scouting locations for my video shoot again, people. Happening on July 30th. I will post the address. I don't want to say it on the airways right now because I want to be able to control who shows up. No knuckleheads. So I will post it. But while I have the moment also, I'm going to get to some announcements. You okay on Debbie?
Yes, I tried to put it on mute. Did I not succeed?
No. But that's okay,
So,
though.
yep.
We just want to make sure you're okay. I'm going to go ahead with some announcements, all right? First thing, I want to remind people who are interested in anime, cosplay, things of that nature, to go check out my son, Tyrone Jr. You can find him on Instagram at TyroneBoyd5513. Also, for those having events in our area, Monmouth County, New Jersey, and you need a DJ for your party, I encourage you to call my good friend DJ Chill at 848-480-9283, and he will show up and rock your party for you. And listen, I know there's a lot going on in the summertime. People need DJs. Also, I remind people checking in to please subscribe. Subscriptions are free. Are free. And we know you're not going to watch every Sunday, but subscriptions help us immensely. So please, people, remember to subscribe. Also, I want to shout out all our supporters. You know who you are out there, the ones who tune in every week. We love you guys so much. The people who comment and everything. Speaking of comments, for all you people who comment with those crazy comments, I'm not putting them up, just so you know. But for those people who are supporters and have been since the beginning, we appreciate and we love you. Also, I remind people to go to my website, check out my products on hazytrades.com, HAZYTRAYZ. For cannabis users, I'm sure you can find something that you will enjoy. Also, remember my video shoot to my song Weightless is coming July 30th. Is there anything you'd like to add on, Debbie?
And if you have trouble in mind or you're high in your spirit, consider talking to me. Visit my website, visioncarriers.com.
In fact, I've got it right here.
www.
Let me put that up for everybody.
Okay, there you go.
Busycarriers.com. There you go. And you can find on Debbie there, people. And also, just to give you an example of what we have on my website, hazytrades.com, we do these custom image trades. They can be sports trades of your favorite sports team, whatever image you like. Or I can put a custom image like this custom image of myself on this tray sets. They come with a tray. They also come with an ashtray and a little bowl, a little jar to store things in. And so I can get that for you. Just go to my website, people. All right. Also, I also want to remind people to check out DJ Boom.
All right. What's happening, y'all? Unfortunately, we're at the end of the show. I know I didn't participate a whole lot, but I'm still happy I was here.
That's all right. We held it down for you, brother.
Six Flags. You can follow me at the official DJ Boom on Instagram. All my whereabouts, what I got going on in and around town. We out here making it do what it do. Thank y'all for tuning in every week to the show. It's just getting bigger.
And I want to say to people next week, I'm going to offer them a challenge. I'm going to offer them a challenge next week where you can tune in and possibly win this From the Shore to Be More t-shirt.
That lady getting it in.
Win one just like this next week. So tune in so that you can get that challenge and win this free t-shirt, people. All right?
That lady getting it in.
Oh,
You better go ahead.
that's
Enjoy
right. She having a
yourself.
good
You
time.
can't
She
tell me
having a
nothing.
good time. Oh yeah, she having that's a perfect way
I
to
love
wrap
it.
up
This
the
is why I
show.
do what I do. I love it.
That's a perfect way to wrap up the show. So listen, we'll see everybody again next weekend from 2 to 3 on From the Shore to Be More. Everybody out there, enjoy your
And
Sundays.
before we punch out, if you're in
Yeah,
the Baltimore area or you want to come to the Baltimore area, I
yeah.
will be here tomorrow again until 7 o'clock. So come on out, hang out with George Truly, DJ Boom, and the Coca-Cola stand as we turn up once again tomorrow. I'm here tonight till 7 o'clock.
And there you go, folks. Maybe you can reach out and go see DJ Boom. We'll see you guys next week, all right?
Love you all. Love you all.
Love y'all.